Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Counting on alum Jinger Vuolo has been making headlines following her appearance at the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby. The 30-year-old opened up about her difficult past in the Duggar family. She even surprised her followers after sharing some of her parents' views regarding adoption. But what caught the attention of many was Jinger's revelation about one of the family's superstitions. One of Jinger's revelations during the podcast was about Jim Bob's shocking view about adoption. According to the Counting on alum, her dad has a warped view regarding adoption, where he thinks that they shouldn't let an outsider child into the family. Jinger added that her father believes that the child's cursed background may pass on to the family, especially when the child's family has a history of voodoo worshipping. But it's not the only superstition of Jim Bob that left many stunned. During the podcast, Jeremy Vuolo talked about one of the craziest superstitions in her family. According to the Counting on alum, the IBLP teaches children that if they don't abide by their parents' authority, they may suffer horrible consequences. This includes tragic accidents, such as car crashes. Things could also get worse in adulthood. However, some Redditors didn't believe it and said that it's just an example of how twisted Bill Gothard's teachings were. Former cult kid here. Honor equals obedience. Disobedience equals rebellion. Rebellion equals witchcraft. God allows Satan to attack anyone who is rebelling. That's what I was taught growing up anyway. Didn't leave home until 23 because I was forbidden to and didn't want to go to hell over it. This makes me feel so sad for poor little girl Jinger who'd done nothing wrong, probably in her life at that point. Slowly descending into crippling mental illness, her family ignores completely, being told over and over that this is how it will be her whole life. I was not raised in the IBLP, but I had similar anxieties as a kid based of similar teachings. Heard this every day while growing up IFB. One of my brother's friends left the church when he was 18 and passed away in a car accident a few years later. His own father got up at the funeral and told everyone that God took his life because he left the church and was living a life of sin. Despite all of her revelations, Jinger Vuolo clarified that she's not aiming to put dirt on her family's reputation. Instead, the Counting on alum wanted everyone to know all the questionable teachings of the IBLP and Bill Gothard. She even stated honoring her parents amid her decision to wear pants by putting on a skirt when she's in front of them. But she eventually changed her ways, and the Duggar family accepted her. Counting on alum Jinger Vuolo made tons of shocking statements during her participation in the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby. The 30-year-old shared her challenging life with the Duggar family, including the time when she decided to wear pants. However, Jinger caught the attention of many after sharing her father, Jim Bob's thoughts regarding adoption. One of the things Jinger mentioned during the podcast was her decision to wear pants. The Counting on alum has already stated that she sought answers in the Bible about restricting women from wearing pants, but she couldn't find any. But this time, she talked about how she did it in front of her parents. According to Jinger, she initially wore skirts during gatherings to honor them, but she later transitioned to wearing pants and explained that she didn't have any intention of rubbing anything in anyone's face. I wanted to let them know, regardless of how things go, I just want to be able to share that, she added before saying that she's still loved and cared for by her family despite her decision. During the latest episode of the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby, Jinger Vuolo opened up about her father's thoughts on adoption. According to the Counting on alum, Jim Bob has such a warped view of adoption. He was afraid to bring an outsider child to their home, as it may give them its generational curse. You don't want to bring that child to your home, because it could be a disturbance to your family, she added. Jinger also said that Jim Bob Duggar thinks the child's family may have a voodoo worshipping background, which could end up cursing their home. Some Redditors were also shocked by Jinger's claims. But yet you don't have to be afraid of who is born to your family, aka predators and molesters. The generational curses thing is such biz. Do you really think they're going to apply it to Pest's kids? Everyone is saved and born again through Jesus, but also watch out for literal infants and their sneaky generational curses. But he brought Tyler into his home when he wanted to have an even 20 kids. Jinger has also made some shocking statements regarding the IBLP's teachings during the podcast. However, the Counting on alum clarified that most of her topics are about Bill Gothard's view and have nothing to do with her family in Arkansas. But it seems it's too late for Jinger Vuolo to explain, as she already stated a piece of shocking information regarding her father. Will this put dirt in their relationship? Jinger Duggar and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, are keeping tabloids busy with the many things they dished on the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby. Finally, the Counting on alum addressed why she keeps the faces of her children, Felicity, 5, and Evangeline, 3, off the internet. It's been about 4 years since TLC fans saw the kids from the front. Jeremy and his wife discussed the way her dad, Jim Bob Duggar, made him fill in a long questionnaire when he wanted to court. Additionally, there was a lot of pressure to have children. Aside from that, TLC fans heard that Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar were not the most perfect parents in the world. Specifically, she mentioned being a sister mom to her siblings. Counting on fans thought they got an insight into how Jinger Duggar deals with her brother Josh Duggar. She simply skipped his name during the interview with Matt and Abby when talking about all the J names. TLC viewers thought she might never say the name of her abuser again. It's not like TLC fans never see photos of the children. However, seeing their faces is a different story. Very often, the photos come with the kids' backs to the camera. She told the interviewers that she does it for reasons similar to that of Jacob Roloff and his son Matteo. Like Jacob, they want their children to decide whether they want to be all over the internet. The Counting on alum said, "I just really felt like I don't want their faces out there. I don't want them to be a part of this because I was." Jinger Duggar got a lot of praise in the comments section for the podcast. Here are some opinions. I love how Jeremy lets her talk and tell her story. Always watched the Duggars growing up, and I really admired Jinger for her testimony and keeping her children off social media. I love this episode. It was so good and eye-opening. Great podcast. Wonderful co-host choice. Wow, talk about totally eye-opening and such a great interview of Jinger and Jeremy. I am actually not a huge Unplanned podcast fan, but this was great. Not to mention, it really helps you empathize with Jinger as a person, and she is actually really likable. What are your thoughts about the reason why Jinger Duggar doesn't show the faces of her children? Do you think it's nice that she is giving them choices? Do you miss those super cute videos of Felicity that used to arrive regularly? Shout out in the comments below, and come back here for all your Counting on family news. Counting on alum, Jinger Duggar opened up on what she thinks of making kids become sister moms to their siblings. Actually, she opened up a lot recently. So when fans sleuthed out the fact that she's got a new book slated for 2025, they wondered if her candid discussions prepare her readers. It seems hard to be the daughter of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, especially if you are a girl. While fans already knew about all the rules, it's not often that TLC fans see their daughter in tears over it. In a recent podcast, she cried as she talked about her unbalanced childhood. Jinger Duggar also revealed that she loves her parents, but it was difficult growing up under such strict core values. So they were not the most perfect parents in the world. Of course, Counting On and 19 Kids and Counting gave them a platform to push their way of parenting. So TLC fans know all about ghastly leggings, drab long skirts, and courting rules. For years, TLC fans watched as the bigger sisters stepped in as parents for Michelle. Michelle was pregnant so many times that she suffered pain, so she didn't have the time to look after all her kids. The TLC stars made a plan for the children to act in a motherly role. They called it the buddy system, and Jana Duggar is still at it. In the teaser for Matt and Abby Howard's unplanned podcast, Jinger Duggar dished her real feelings about being a sister mom, aka a stand-in mother. In it, she said that she didn't like the idea of kids raising kids. It's unhealthy. I had 2 of my siblings who I would help take care of and help with their schoolwork, their music nicely practice, help them get their chores done. Stuff like that. Kids can help out and learn about responsibility in other ways, but not in the motherly aspect of life, like what moms and dads should be doing. When the snippet made it to Reddit, TLC fans quickly joined the discussion, and they seemed shocked that Jinger Duggar had criticized her parents' way of raising her kids. Here are some of those opinions. That is actual criticism. I'm not used to that from Jinger. I would love to see Boob's face while he watches this. Honestly, Meech too, because wasn't Jinger her favorite? And Meech started up the buddy system. Her facial expression when she says that parents should take care of their kids is very telling. I wish she could be direct and say, my parents should have raised their kids, but I know it can't be easy for her to be that blunt yet. Maybe in time. What are your thoughts about Jinger coming out openly and criticizing her parents for making their kids act as stand-in moms to their younger siblings? Shout out in the comments below and come back here for all your counting on news.